Hello, everybody. We are live at the Peas Farm. You're looking at the benches and swinging chair. Swinging. What is that? It's a swing. Right outside of the barn, and Caroline is waiting for us right in here in the Peas Farm barn kitchen to tell us about salad dressings.
Yep.
And this is Genevieve in the background narrating.
With Austin helping a little bit.
Yeah, my daughter Austin is over here. She might be helping a little bit.
Yeah, so Genevieve asked me to tell you all a little bit about salad dressing. And salad dressing is something that I've been making from scratch since I was a child, because I grew up every night when my mom or dad would cook dinner, my mom would always make a big salad, and she would always make a salad dressing from scratch. And then we didn't really buy a whole lot of salad dressing. It was pretty cheap to make it from scratch, and she loved it so much, and she could make it as spicy or sour as she liked it. So it was really fun growing up making salad dressings with my mom. So I'm just going to explain a little bit to you all about how I like to make salad dressings. Like my mom, I really love to make them from scratch, and I like to mix it up, and I always have such an abundance of really delicious salad greens, other vegetables to throw in a salad that make it really easy and fun to make something super flavorful and satisfying for a quick meal or as a side dish to another meal. Or for lunch, I suppose. So the basics of salad dressing is that you are incorporating an acid or a vinegar or lemon juice or lime juice, some sort of acid ingredient with an oil. And then those two things together are emulsified. And there are a million ways that you can combine things, a million different types of acids you can use with a million different types of oils you can use. And then there are different ways that you can emulsify them. And so I'm just going to do a little demo of like the ratio that I like to use of oil and vinegar, because I think that's where a lot of folks tend to struggle. I don't really measure anything. I just do it by feel. And another thing that's really important when you're doing things by feel is that it's important to taste as you go. And then you can always, with salad dressings, it's very easy. You can add more vinegar if it's not acidic enough, or you can add more oil if it has too much of a punch. So I brought a few different acids today. There's apple cider vinegar, some lemon juice, and then this is the last of my balsamic. These are the three that I use most of the time, but I also really like to use white wine vinegar because I feel like it's quite light and elegant, and it combines really, really well with other flavors. Lately I've been doing a lot of apple cider vinegar because it's just so tangy and it feels really good. It feels really good to eat that, and also it's really good for your digestive system, which is awesome. So let's do a little demo of like the ratio that I would use. My grandma also has always made salad dressings from scratch. Hers don't even have salt in them. She's sort of from the salt is bad for you generation. So I don't love her salad dressings as I love my mom's, who heavily salt everything. But my grandma always says 1/3 vinegar, 2/3 oil. And so from there you can just adapt and do what feels good to you. So if I were making this at home, I like to use these measuring cups, not because I measure with them, but because they are meant to be poured, and that's really, really handy. So I have a little bit of vinegar, and then I'm just going to fill up with oil until it feels right. That's where I'm going to stop. So from here, if you look closely, you can see, that's sort of like 1/3 and 2/3.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and it's so pretty the way it bubbles.
It is really pretty. Yeah, it's so lovely. So from here, you do what's called emulsification, which is a very fancy term for mixing the oil and the vinegar together so that they are blended. You can use a fork or a whisk. I just use a fork because it's easy. So forget the whisk. I mix it up in there, sort of do like the egg mix like that. That's more or less what it will look like. Sometimes it will separate and you just emulsify it again right before you dress your salad. Other things that I like to add to like my basic sort of a Tuesday night salad dressing are garlic. Also because raw garlic is super, super good for you and tastes amazing. And we have a lot of it here at all of our Garden City Harvest farm sites. We have a lot at the Peas Farm. So just use some of that.
There's some great knife skills too. I like how you're bending your fingers.
Yeah, so that's
and
my
holding.
move is like
Yeah.
the knuckles are farther out than the tips of the fingers.
Yeah.
Because those are the vulnerable parts.
And you also have your fingers on either side of the knife in the back side too, where the handle is,
Oh yeah.
which helps more control. Took me a long time to learn that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, knife skills are super important. I tend to use a really big knife for everything. This is the one, you know. This is my knife. I love it.
So good to have a sharp knife too.
Oh yeah,
Good
I sharpened it before I brought it here. Freshly ground black pepper. And then a little bit of salt. I'm also a big fan of putting Dijon in my salad dressings. Super into that. A lot of people also like to add something sweet to their salad dressings, like honey. Honey Dijon is really popular. I don't always have honey laying around. I'm not a honey farmer, but that would be very cool. And if I did, I maybe would use more honey in my salad dressings. But I kind of like them a little bit more sour than sweet. That's just my personal preference. But if you have kids, honey might be a really good addition to your salad dressings. Or maple syrup, or agave, or sugar, whatever you like to use in your household. So this is a really good salad dressing. Do you want to try it, Austin? Maybe not?
See?
Want to try it? You can
This is
dip
a lot
pea
like
in
what we
there,
have at home.
taste it. So this is an important part of the process. Tasting your homemade, not measured salad dressing is really important.
That's good.
Austin approves. Can you give it a thumbs up?
Kid approved.
Kid
It doesn't
approved.
have honey in it.
Yeah.
So that's basic.
One of
I'll
Austin's
show you
favorite is the food store one, which does not have sugar either.
Oh, no kidding.
It's like nutritional yeast and tamari.
So I want to show you all something really cool. Hey, Austin, will you go get me a big bowl that's on that rack in that other room real quick? It's a big silver bowl just like this one. Looks just like that. So my mom has the secret awesome method for her salad dressings that use so few things in the kitchen so you don't have to clean up that much. Here, I'll show you. Pause real quick. Right here. So, this is my mom's method. So instead of making the salad dressing in, where did I put that thing? Oh, over here. Instead of making it in here and then having to pour it over the salad and dress it and then have to wash this, my mom makes her salad dressing in the bottom of the bowl. So you would normally just make the dressing in here. You wouldn't even pour it, but I'm just for time's sake pouring it in here. It would be as if I had made this in the bottom of the bowl. I had chopped the garlic and put it in here, put the Dijon in here, put all the oil and vinegar in here, make it in the bottom of the bowl. And then she would put the lettuce on top. And then let it sit like that throughout the whole cooking process of all the other parts of the meal. And then it's just sitting there ready. You're not like, you know, sometimes it's nice to get the salad out of the way if you're cooking. Like, just get that done. But you don't want to dress it or toss it. Otherwise, it will tend to wilt and not look as fresh as it does right after you dress it and toss it. So she makes the salad dressing, puts it at the bottom of the bowl, puts the lettuce on top, and just sets it aside until the rest of the meal's done. And then when the rest of the meal's done and right before you're ready to sit down and eat, she just tosses it. And the salad dressing's just right down there. That's pro tip. Pro tip from Mama. So there's that dressing. Classic Tuesday night, casual. But sometimes you want to mix it up. And there are lots of ways that you can do that. Some of the ways that I like to mix it up are by using different vinegars, like I was saying before. I often like to use balsamic vinegar and make a balsamic and Dijon, salt and pepper, and olive oil vinaigrette if I'm having like pasta, for instance, or some sort of Italian dish. That usually pairs really, really well. Besides balsamic, something I also really like to make that sort of kicks it up a notch, especially if it's during the summer. It's really, really fun to make a vinaigrette with herbs in it. So I'm going to demo how to do that and show you the most efficient way that I do that in my kitchen. So I have this sort of tall, wide-mouthed jar that I'm going to make the dressing in. And I think I'll use just a little bit of lemon juice and then a little bit of apple cider vinegar combined.
And would lemon juice count as an acid?
Heck yes, that is a total acid. I will use a little bit of this stuff.
And does Dijon count as an acid as well?
No.
It's just a flavor?
It's just a flavor, and you can add lots of these flavorful things to your salad dressings besides just the olive oil or other kind of oil, and then the acid or vinegar or citrus juice. You can add, I made a list here of things I would also add. You could add cream, Dijon, yogurt, creme fraiche, sour cream, mayonnaise, eggs, anchovy paste, garlic, shallots, herbs, honey, maple syrup, spices. You could add lots of things. So I encourage people to play around. That's what I do. I'll put a little bit of Dijon in there. And then maybe a little bit of garlic. But I'm not even going to chop up this garlic very much because you'll see I have a special method for this one. And then my olive oil. And again, a guesstimation. And then I brought all these herbs. I have with me summer savory, which we have for our CSA members at the Peace Farm quite often. It's sort of more, it's more like thyme. It's a savory herb. It can be cooked or used fresh. I really like parsley, so I'm going to put a little bit of parsley in there. Basil's great. I once worked as a food runner at a restaurant, and I talked to one of the sous chefs who was cutting herbs, and I said, "Oh, what are you going to put in your dressing today?" And she said, "We just put a mix of herbs. We don't even think that much about it. Like, sometimes just mixing random herbs works out okay." I'm putting in here...
Is that dill?
Dill. I love dill a lot. And then this is an herb that I grow in my garden called chervil. It's in the carrot family, and it has a little bit of an anise flavor. I really like that. So I'm going to put all those in there. And then a little salt and pepper.
That is crazy how you didn't even have to like take the stems off. You just crammed them right in there. You just whole thing.
Super
Love
casual.
it. And does it matter what kind of salt? Do you just use your favorite variety?
This is what we have at the Peace Farm. At home I have this like pink sea salt that they have in bulk at the good food store that I like pretty well.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing out my special tool for my herb vinaigrette. It's an immersion blender. This is one we have at the Peace Farm. It comes in super, super handy when we're cooking for 30 people after our work days in the summer. I also have one at home. If you have one, this is a good application for it. So what I do is that I really, really like wide mouth quart mason jars for this because they sort of come a little bit in at the top, which is nice, and they accommodate the size of this.
And then you can just store it in there. But
I'm going to sort of put my hand over here to like keep it from spewing everywhere.
Smells really good.
Yeah, it smells pretty good. Should we try this one? Okay.
I want to. Can you bring me a sample too?
Okay, Jamie's getting hungry. Okay, so there's a little bit of this herb vinaigrette. Thank you. And here's one for your mama.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Pour it.
You hear Austin whisper, "It's really good." Double thumbs up. And a dance. And a dance. Okay.
I have a really improvisational style in the kitchen. I know that's not everybody's deal, but if you're trying out this improvisational approach, you know, the really important thing is just to remember sort of the basic concepts, like you need an acid, you need your oil, and then you need a third of the acid, more of the oil. But also understand that, like, it's really about tasting and trying things along the way, deciding what you like. If you want it more of a certain way, you can change it, and it's super easy to do that. Always, also a good principle for being improvisational in the kitchen is to add a little taste and then add more if you need it, as opposed to adding a ton and then having to add more of everything else to come up to that level. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's an herb vinaigrette. I really like that one. It's really fun from time to time. The other thing that I wanted to make for you all is sort of a fancy vinaigrette that I really, really have enjoyed. It's from this book, 6 Seasons, which is written by this guy, Joshua McFadden, and he worked at Elliot Coleman's farm, four-season farm up in Maine. And Elliot Coleman is a really famous organic vegetable grower in New England, and he is kind of the grandfather of organic vegetable production in the United States. And so this guy worked with him, had access to amazing produce, and this cookbook is really all about cooking with that produce. And he has sort of an Italian approach and Italian style to the cooking that he has in this book, and it's definitely taken my pasta game to a new level. So I would highly recommend it.
This is also one of Claire's recommended cookbooks that we heard about a few weeks ago.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Claire and I have bonded over this recipe here, lemon cream. That's the recipe I'm going to show you all. But as I tend to do with cookbooks as an improvisational type cook, I really, really like to not stress out too much if I don't have specific ingredients. And so we're going to modify this recipe a little bit today because I didn't happen to have some of the ingredients with me in my kitchen. So the process for this is pretty funny. You take about a half cup of cream, but I didn't have cream. Or actually, the cream that I had was sour and bad. So instead, I brought this half and half that I use for my coffee in the morning, which is half cream and half milk, and is totally going to work just fine. So you put about a half cup of that in there, and then you cut up, or actually you smash, I think is the way the recipe goes, 4 garlic cloves. Whoa. So I was smashing that with like the side of my knife. The garlic is sort of new, so the paper on it is really tight. For time's sake, I'm just going to smash up 1 clove. Also, these cloves are so big, so you can just do 1 or 2. And
hallelujah, we have garlic.
We have garlic.
What?
This is a beautiful big clove variety we have at the Peace Farm called Zemo. It's a hardneck.
Zoom in there. Gorgeous. Purple.
So what you're supposed to do is let this sit for half an hour in your fridge, and then the garlic infuses into the cream. For time's sake, we're just going to forget that step and pretend as if we had already done it. So at that point, you fish out the garlic, and the cream is still infused with that garlic quality. And then I have this handy little thing I got at Goodwill a bunch of years ago, and I take half a lemon. Sometimes I like to buy lemons in addition to having this lemon juice in the fridge, because they taste so good in salad dressings. So I squeeze half a lemon over this cream that's been infused with garlic. Oh, I forgot to mention there's this other step that I also very rarely do, where you're supposed to whip the cream slightly. But sometimes I say to myself, do I care if my salad dressing's runny? I don't care that much. So I'm not going to do that part either. So I've already deviated to some degree from this recipe because maybe I'm short on time and I don't want to run to the grocery store to get a specific ingredient. That's totally okay, and I do it all the time, and it's still going to be delicious. So I have my cream infused with garlic and the lemon juice. I'll put a little bit of salt and pepper in here. And a little bit of salt. And then I might actually use a whisk for this process because you do want to sort of more slowly incorporate the oil into the cream. So I've sort of mixed everything that's in here so far. And then I'm going to pour the olive oil somewhat slowly. And I don't have to add as much olive oil. Maybe we'll include the recipe, the exact recipe on the on the post so that you can see how to do it in the bona fide manner. Let's see how it tastes with cucumbers. Y'all want to? Alright, so I'm gonna taste, maybe adapt. Maybe more salt. Maybe more pepper. It also calls for lemon zest, I remember. So maybe I'll put a little bit of that in there. And it'll give it a little bit more of a lemon. Je ne sais quoi.
Mm-hmm. A little kick. It is a cool book because it has someone who's worked at a farm and is a chef. But I feel like there's often steps you can leave out because chefs tend to be perfectionists.
That's a great point. Sometimes, like, maybe it's a Rachel Ray cookbook and she's cooking 30-minute meals and you don't really gotta go. She's not gonna do everything to the utmost degree, but this guy, he's definitely doing it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also do that way if you're having company or if it's a special occasion. But if it's a Wednesday night and you're making lemon cream, you feel a little tired, as I sometimes do after work. It's really nice to just make it really casual. Do you want to try this one, Austin?
Mm-hmm.
Here you go. You're welcome. This lemon cream recipe, I kind of fell in love with it a little bit and was proselytizing about it to my friends and telling them how great it was. This lemon cream dressing is so delicious to me. I love it so much that I don't feel like, I feel like it deserves the best salad greens. So I don't ever make this in the wintertime when there aren't fresh salad greens. Maybe I'm just buying salad in a box from the grocery store. I don't feel like this is too fancy for that. I feel like this dressing deserves really, really fresh greens. So as soon as those fresh greens are available come spring, I'm making this dressing all the time because it's so good and it just like really accentuates the flavors of those just really succulent fresh greens like spinach and arugula and salad lettuce that you get in the spring. So I really love that. A couple other thoughts in closing. The best way to mix it up if you're feeling kind of in a slump with salad is to change up your vinegar. That's a great thing to do. Change up your salad dressing, as I've shown you a couple ways to do. The other thing you can do is put different stuff in your salad. You can start with a base of lettuce or other kinds of greens. I made a really great salad recently with hard-boiled egg in it.
Mm.
You could blanch some green beans and put them in there with the hard-boiled egg if you wanted to do like a salad niçoise or whatever. I roasted some beets on a Sunday and then throughout the whole week put the roasted beets on my salad and that provided like a bit of a crunch. So yeah, I would definitely encourage folks to try different things and don't be afraid to experiment and to try different ingredients and especially when you have a CSA box, it makes it really easy to experiment because you're getting all these new things every week. So that's all I've got for you.
Cool. I have a question for you before we sign
Yes.
off. This is your first season at the Peas Farm as a lecturer for the university and just hanging out with these great students. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what it's like this summer? What it's been like for your first season?
Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, this is a dreamy place to be. It's a dreamy place to work. I think the best part of my job, or the best days, are when I have good conversations with students, or when I am connecting with students. It's really fun to hang out with college students. They're at such a sort of critical time in their life where they're exploring and experimenting and becoming curious about the world, also understanding how little of the world they actually know. A farm is such an amazing place for them to deepen their relationship with themselves and also become more curious about the things outside of them too. And that's something that I know I really want to bring to the farm, and I know Dave really does too, that sense of curiosity and wonder, just kind of getting into this amazing biological system that we create here on the farm, that we're a part of on the farm. Sometimes it's overwhelming, sometimes it's amazing.
Dave just walked in.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, it's been really great so far, and I'm really glad to be here, and I would encourage folks to stop by if you're in the neighborhood, and can't wait to see you all at the farm party. We're really stoked for our first farm party.
Yeah. Cool. We will see you there. Thanks, Caroline, and we'll see you guys next week.